The Mandela Effect is a phenomenon where a large group of people remember an event or detail that happened in a different way from what they remember. This discrepancy between memory and reality often leads to confusion and sometimes conspiracy theories about alternate realities or timelines. The term Mandela Effect was coined by Fiona Broome when she realized that a lot of people remember Nelson Mandela dying while he was still in prison in the 1980s, rather than his actual death in 2013. The Mandela Effect gained widespread attention as people shared similar experiences or collectively misremembering various events or details. Now I just want you to imagine the Monopoly Man for a second. What does he look like to you? An older man with a bushy white mustache and a monocle on one eye? Well, what if I told you he's never actually had a monocle? Many people vividly remember Mr. Monopoly, typically depicted as a portly older gentleman with a monocle on one eye. However, in reality, he's never actually worn a monocle in any official Monopoly games or advertisements. The Mandela Effect comes into play because so many people are certain that they remember him with one monocle, even though there's no evidence to support this. In gaming, the Mandela Effect manifests in similar ways. Players may collectively misremember specific elements within the game, such as character names, dialogue lines, or even entire plot points. These discrepancies can arise due to various factors, including the passage of time, nostalgia, misinformation, or the human brain's tendency to fill in gaps in memory with familiar or expected information. For example, players might remember a character having a certain color scheme or design that differs from the actual game assets. Others might recall a particular line of dialogue being spoken by a character when it wasn't. These discrepancies can lead to discussions, debate, and sometimes even fan theories about the true nature of the game's content. Overall, the Mandela Effect in gaming highlights the fascinating ways in which memory works, and how collective experiences can shape our perception of reality in virtual worlds. So what are some of the most fascinating stories about the Mandela Effect in gaming? Many fans vividly remember Pikachu's tail having a black tip at the end of it. This image was widely accepted and circulated among enthusiasts, becoming a hallmark of Pikachu's appearance in the collective memory. However, upon closer examination of Pokémon's media and artwork, the truth emerges. Pikachu's tail is actually entirely yellow, devoid of any black tip. This revelation contradicts the widespread belief held by fans for many years. In the case of Pikachu's tail, it's possible that people's memories have been influenced by similar-looking Pokémon or by Pikachu's appearance in various media, where it still might appear differently due to artistic expression or lighting effects. Nonetheless, the Mandela Effect related to Pikachu's tail serves as a fascinating example of how perception and memory can diverge from reality. In Overwatch, there's a famous conversation between two characters called Reaper and Mercy. Mercy says, "I didn't mean for things to turn out like this, phrase." And Reaper replies, "You knew what you were doing." This dialogue resonated with players since it added depth to the characters. But the surprising thing is, the game's former lead writer said this conversation never actually happened. Fans searched through the game files and found no proof of it, not even in the beta version. It's weird how so many players remember hearing it even though it never actually really existed. Some players remember encountering MissingNo as a legitimate part of the game, believing it to be a secret rare Pokémon with unique abilities. Others recall encountering it as a significant part of the game's story or a means to obtain rare items. In reality, MissingNo is not a legitimate part of the Pokémon Red and Blue universe, but rather a glitch in the game's programming. Its name, MissingNo, is derived from missing number, indicating its status as an unintended placeholder of error in the game's code. MissingNo typically appears when the game's programming encounters errors related to memory manipulation or data corruption, often triggered by specific player actions such as using the Old Man glitch or surfing along certain coastal areas. As a glitch, MissingNo acts erratically and unpredictably. its appearance can cause graphic abnormalities, item duplication, or even data corruption in extreme cases. Contrary to the belief that MissingNo possesses unique abilities, it functions similarly to other glitch Pokémon, lacking any intentional design or gameplay mechanics. MissingNo is not part of the storyline or game progression. It is not encountered through normal gameplay and does not play any role in advancing in the game's narrative. Instead, it presents an unintended consequence of programming errors and serves as a curious anomaly within the Pokémon game's code. Despite its status as a glitch, MissingNo has captured the imagination of Pokémon fans and has become a memorable part of the series lore. Its mysterious appearance and unintended consequences have led to numerous theories, urban legends, and myths among players, highlighting the enduring fascination with glitches and hidden secrets in video games. Many players have strong memories about the moon in Majora's Mask, appearing as a frightening, menacing figure. They often describe it with a big, toothy grin and scary eyes peering down at the game's world of Termina. This idea was widely believed among the players, and sparked discussion, fan art, and theories about what the moon's expressions meant. But actually, the moon's face in Majora's Mask is quite different from what many remember. It actually shows a calm, blank expression with closed eyes, lacking the menacing features that players recall. This difference between what people remembered and what was real has caused a lot of curiosity and debate among players. Why did so many players get it wrong? Well, there are a few reasons for this. The game has a dark and weird atmosphere, which might have influenced how players interpreted the moon's face. Also, the game's ads and box art may have made the moon seem scarier without clearly showing its face. The Mandela Effect about the moon's face in Majora's Mask still fascinates fans of the game. Some think it shows how our memories can change over time or be influenced by others, while others wonder if there's a deeper meaning to it all. This Mandela Effect is an interesting example of how our memories can sometimes be different from reality, leading to lots of interesting discussions among the players. Mario! Many players have a vivid memory about Yoshi, the friendly dinosaur from the Mario series, being able to gobble up enemies or objects and then spit them out as coins. This memory comes from playing various Mario games where Yoshi is a helpful sidekick, often seen interacting with coins in this way. Players recall using a Yoshi to gather coins efficiently and achieve higher scores in levels. However, the truth is a bit different from what people remember. In the original Super Mario Bros., Yoshi doesn't appear at all. Players control Mario as he journeys through the Mushroom Kingdom to rescue Princess Peach from Bowser's clutches. Yoshi actually makes his first appearance in Super Mario World, where he can indeed interact with coins as described. The misconception about Yoshi collecting coins likely comes from memories of later Mario games, like Super Mario World and the ones that followed, where Yoshi plays a big role. In those games, Yoshi can indeed turn enemies into coins, leading players to mix up his abilities with those in the original Super Mario Bros. This mix-up shows how memories of game mechanics can get tangled across different entries in a series. The Mandela Effect related to Yoshi's coin collecting role in Super Mario Bros. Reminds us of the intricate world of video game lore and how our memories can sometimes blend different games together. It's me, Mario! Many players remember the final bosses in Street Fighter II being named Vega and Bison and Balrog. According to this belief, Vega was the Spanish masked fighter, and Bison was the boxer, and Balrog was the claw-wielding ninja. This understanding was widely accepted among players and became ingrained in the collective memory of the game's fanbase. However, the truth is a bit different from what many remember. In the original Japanese version of Street Fighter II, the names of the Shadaloo bosses were actually different. Vega was the name of the claw-wielding ninja, and Bison was a dictator, and Balrog was the boxer. But when the game was released internationally, there were worries about legal issues due to M. Bison's similarity to real-life boxer Mike Tyson, so the names of the bosses were swapped in the international versions. Vega became the Spanish fighter, M. Bison became the dictator, and Balrog became the boxer. The misconception about the bosses' names likely came from the confusion caused by these changes in the international version of the game. Since the Western release became more popular outside of Japan, many players accepted the swap names as the correct ones, leading to the widespread misunderstanding about the original names of the characters. The Mandela Effect about the name of the Shadaloo bosses in Street Fighter 2 has sparked ongoing discussion among fans. Some players might be surprised to learn about the original names and the reasons behind the changes. The difference in names show how localization decisions can affect how players perceive and remember a game's character. It also shows how complex localization can be in video game development, and how these decisions can shape players' understanding and memories of a game's lore. Many players remember Simlish, the fictional language spoken by the characters in the Sims series, as being a random gibberish language without any specific meaning. Players recall hearing their Sims characters speaking in Simlish during interactions and believe that the language consisted of nonsensical sounds designed to convey emotion and communication without being understandable to players. But actually, Simlish isn't just random noise. It's a constructed language with its own rules for how words and sentences are put together. Game developers created it to mimic speech without using any real-world languages, so players all over the world could understand the game. Simlish uses a mix of sounds, gestures, and facial expressions to convey feelings and ideas to players, even though the language itself remains mostly unintelligible. The misunderstanding about Simlish likely comes from players not being able to understand it, and not having any information in the game about how it works. Without translations or explanations, players might have assumed Simlish was just gibberish, rather than an actual carefully crafted language system. The Mandela Effect related to Simlish has led to ongoing discussions amongst fans of The Sims. Some players might be surprised to learn that Simlish was intentionally designed as a fully formed language, while others might appreciate the effort put in by developers to make the game inclusive and immersive. It also shows how the player's assumptions can sometimes differ from the intention behind game design choices. So what do you think causes the Mandela Effect? Maybe in another reality, Pikachu really did have that black tip at the end of his tail. Maybe our universe isn't the only one that exists. Instead, there's multiple parallel realities, each with its own timeline and set of events. Maybe our realities might intersect or overlap at times, leading to instances where memories can bleed from one reality into another.